Hi, I'm Louisa. I'm going to do a little side lying sequence and prone sequence for your mat work today. So if you have it, have your cushions, a roller, if you've got it, and maybe an overball. Okay, so we're going to come into side lying. So you're going to set yourself up in your chair position. So extend the underneath arm away, palm up if you can, and use a cushion or two between your head and your arm to support your neck. Your legs are in chair, that waist is long and lifted, hips are stacked. So I'm going to lengthen out that top leg in line with the hip, softly pointing the foot, and we're going to do some circles. So breathing, scooping, centering, just stirring that leg in the hip socket. Let's do about 5 or 6 in one direction and then 5 or 6 the other way. So try not to dip in that lumbar spine, keep that length and support throughout. Check we're not tensing in the neck or the shoulder. So just find a sort of size of circle where you can keep everything else well organised, and we definitely want to try and open out the front of that hip as much as you can. And then once you've done around 5 each way, we'll just come 5 or 6 each way, we'll come back to your chair position. And then if you have a roller, we're going to use that just to roll out the inner thighs. If you don't have a roller, you could use a cushion or a ball and be in a similar position. So I'm going to bring my top leg, the shin on the roller, and extending the underneath leg is slightly in front of my hip line. So I'm almost like in a recovery position. If your roller is long enough, maybe you get your hand on it as well, but if not, it's just where you need to be. So try to keep that sense of hip over hip, shoulder over shoulder, and try to avoid that top hip creeping up as best you can. So just breathing, centering throughout. You're going to just rock forward and return. So just see how this feels. The intention is that you can use your roller to massage out your inner thigh. And if it's too much, you kind of don't lean into it so much. You want more, you could lean into it a little bit more, and you might need to adjust yourself or the roller to achieve that. Okay, so just see how that goes. And as I said, if you don't have the roller, you could use your ball or cushion, and you're just going to be doing a little similar rock. So it would be more of a length and release for the tailbone and your spine rather than the inner thigh work that we were getting with that roller movement. So see how you find that. Let's do a couple more passes with that, and then I'll remove. You can just nudge that out of the way, and then from here we're going to just do your sideline rotation. So you might need a big cushion, and you may prefer to have a ball between the knees. So just keep that waist long and lifted. I'm going to manoeuvre my roller out of the way. So chalk circles if you can, but if you need to do an alternative such as an arm opening, that would be fine too. Let's do about 5 or 6 here. So inhale up and over, exhale ribs, head, neck as you spiral around. Just keep the waist long. Inhale up and over, exhale spiraling around. So inhale up and over, and then exhale to spiral. Couple more. So let the head and your gaze follow your hand. And make this the last one. And then once you're done, you might want to just inhale, reach and roll that top arm and shoulder forward a couple of times. And then we'll switch over to do the other side. Okay, so manoeuvre yourself around to the other side, bringing whatever equipment you have and need with you. I'll grab my roller as well here. Have your roller or maybe your ball in front of you. And we're starting with your circles on this side. So we're going to do your side leg circles. So lengthen out that underneath arm, palm up if you can. Use some cushions between your head and your arm to support your neck. You're in chair position, waist long and lifted, shoulder over shoulder and hip over hip. So we're just lengthening that top leg away. Trying to keep everything stacked, and then breathing, scooping, centering, just 5 or 6 stirs of that leg in the hip socket in each direction. So just find a sort of range of circle where you can keep everything else steady. Okay, I'm doing a few the other way. And then once you're done, we try to open up the front of that hip. We're going to just come back into that chair position. And then if you have your roller, we're going to manoeuvre now. So you bring that top leg onto the roller. So you've got the shin, the top leg's almost in chair position, underneath leg lengthens away. Careful that top hip doesn't creep up, so try to keep it as level as you can. If your roller's long enough, maybe your hand is on the roller and we're keeping the shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip, and you're just beginning to rock back a little bit. So your centre's still engaged. If you don't have the roller, you could use a ball or a big pillow and you're just doing the rocking without the sort of massaging out of the inner thigh muscles. If you're not feeling much release in that inner thigh, you could maneuver yourself or your roller just so you can perhaps work up that inner thigh a little more if that area is tight and you want to give it a bit more attention. So either lean in if you want a bit more or kind of come off it a little bit if it's too much. You need to kind of take it a little bit easier. Okay, a couple more passes of this and then we will do your sideline rotation. So then you can move the roller out of the way. I'm going to grab big cushions. You might want to have the ball between the knees or a cushion, another cushion between the knees, and we do our chalk circles. Okay, so that waist stays long and lifted, hips stacked, shoulders stacked, and if you need to do an arm opening instead, that would be fine. So you can inhale up and over, exhale ribs as you spiral round. Inhale up and over, exhale ribs as you spiral round. We're aiming for 5 or 6, so let the neck and the head follow that movement. Keep your hand in view. Couple more, just spiraling, open that upper back. And then once you've finished, might feel good just to do 2 or 3 little reach and roll forward and back of that top arm over the underneath one. And then we're going to just unravel and come onto your back for a moment, so you won't need probably so many cushions under your head now. And we just take a minute to do a glute piriformis stretch. So check your back in neutral, knee fold one leg, turn out from the hip, that might be enough, or you could loosely take hold behind the back of your thigh. Keeping this leg, the leg that's kind of in that knee fold position, parallel, and you may want to extend that leg and flex the foot if you want to stretch the hamstrings while you're there as well. So just 2 or 3 breaths. Keeping length so as neutral as you can. You can soften the foot, lower that shape down and untangle. We'll do the other side, so knee fold, turn out, and then drawing up maybe, a few breaths there, possibly extending the other leg. It's in that knee fold shape and maybe flexing the foot, staying as neutral and lengthened through both sides of the waist as you can. 2 or 3 breaths. And then you can lower, release down and untangle from there. So from here, we're going to come onto your tummy and we're doing a little bit of extension work. There's a combination of a diamond press and to a dart. So a few stages involved and you can always stick at whichever stage suits you best today. So you may need a little cushion under your tummy to support your low back. You might need another cushion under your forehead as well. But just try to lengthen yourself out as long as you can on the mat. So make yourself as long and lengthened as possible. And then we'll lower down, and as I said, you might have your forehead on the mat or you might have it on a cushion. I'm going to just use a cushion. Some of you may need to add a little pelvic tilt towards the mat just to support your lumbar spine a little more. So I'm going to come into a wide diamond press position. So find width across the shoulders so we don't want to be hunching or tensing up there. I'm going to start and just go through those stages. So wide breath in, and as you breathe out, engage your centre. Nudge a marble with your nose and just begin to find your diamond press position. Breath here, and then you can lengthen and release back down. Now that might be enough, and you're trying not to press with the arms to bring you up. You're just lengthening and lifting from the frame of your arms. If that's okay, you could uncurl, breath and centre. Float one arm up, inhale, lower, exhale, other arm. Inhale, lower, and then exhale, release. And as you lift that one arm at a time, you're trying to avoid shifting anywhere else. Okay, if that's okay, you could come up and bring one arm up, other arm up, one arm down, other arm down, and then release. And if that's okay, we'll add on a little bit more. I'm going to come up to that diamond press shape, breath and centre, one arm, other arm, breath and centre. I'm going to extend the arms to a T shape. Turn the arms and palms away, and I'm going to sweep into dart. You may extend more as you do this. Breath here, we're going to lower from dart and then bring the arms back to that starting position. So I'll come up to diamond press, breathing, centering, arm, arm, T-shape, the breath and center, turn the arms and palms away and sweep into dart. And I'm going to lower and come back down again. Let's just do one or two more. Arm, arm, T-shape, sweep round to dart and lower. Take the next one, our last one. So gliding up, arm, arm, T-shape and lower. I'm going to release back down and sit back to rest position. If you need to come onto your back and hug your legs instead, that's fine. So toes together, knees apart. You can always have a cushion under your knees or a cushion under your head as you come down. Just taking a few breaths into here. You may want to bring left hand over right just to lengthen out that side for a couple of breaths. You may want to come back through centre and do the other side for a couple of breaths. I've got right hand over left. And then finishing back in the centre before uncurling and stacking up tall. And we'll do a little bit of seated stretch to finish off today. So I'm going to just sit tall. You could sit cross-legged, long frog. You may need to prop your bottom up on a block or a cushion. Just try to stack up shoulders over hips so you're not pitched forward or back or side to side. So just find as much length as you can. And we're going to do a side reach. So you can inhale at the arm and palm, float up, and then exhale up and over. Keep both sit bones planted down and take a breath there. And then as you breathe out, stacking back up and lowering, other side, arm and palm in, and then exhale up and over, breath, and then we're stacking back up again. Let's just do one more each side. So inhale, arm and palm up, exhale up and over, breath there, and then lengthening up, inhale up, exhale up and over, breath there, and then stacking back up again from there. If you'd like to do a little neck stretch, you could have the opposite hand, opposite shoulder, lengthen and chin tuck, just make sure you're not poking that chin forward, tilt the head, maybe just turn it so your gaze drops down, taking a couple of breaths into here, and you can unravel and stack up. And then other side, opposite hand, opposite shoulder, lengthen chin tuck, tilt. Maybe add that little bit of rotation. Dropping your gaze down and taking a couple of breaths here. And then unravel back to the centre. Shrug or circle your shoulders. You can wiggle out through the spine. You might want to shake out the legs and the hips. And thank you very much for joining me. I hope it's been helpful. If it has, please do like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.